What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today, once again, we are league racing. This time we have the Japanese Grand Prix, and yeah, hopefully this week we can have a clean race. After the disastrous round of Malaysia, I just want to move on and forget about that and have a clean one today. In terms of the driver standings, we're still somehow holding down third place. 16 points clear of, oh my god, it's Joe, and Fitcho is 21 points ahead of me as well. So kind of in a league of my own at this stage, and I think going forward it's going to be very, very hard to get second place in the driver's standing. So I think my goal from here on in is really just to finish in the top 3 in the standings, and I'm going to do that by having a lot of fun and just going for as many race wins as I can. So here we are in Japan, a track that I seem to go pretty well at. Like, it's not a track that I love, but it's a track that I'm successful at, I'd say, sometimes. So we'll see how we go. I feel moderately confident heading into this one. I wasn't really hoping for rain or anything like that. I was just hoping for a nice, clear race, and hopefully we can get that. So here we are in qualifying, going out straight away on the medium tyres. I'm not mucking around in terms of tyre strategy this weekend. I just want to qualify up the front, race to the front, and have a clean race. That's going to be my aim for this weekend. Now, going through the final chicane there, very, very close to a corner cut warning, and I was very lucky to get away with that. But the opening lap was fairly solid, got us P3. I carried on for another lap, but as you can see here, going through the first sector, we were down ever so slightly, and then the corner cut really put the lap to bed. So that was the end of our first run in qualifying. So, not too bad. Kind of where I expected to be honest. Greekmaster has been spending a lot of time in time trial, so he's kind of going to be the benchmark for this week in terms of pole position. So hopefully we can challenge him as we move on to these soft compound tyres now. And in the few minutes that it took for us to get going again, we dropped to P5. So a lot of quick drivers in this league. That's what I like about this league so much, is there isn't like one person who dominates. It's a lot of people who are very, very evenly matched in terms of skill. It just comes down to setup and who can have the most confidence and who takes the most risks in qualifying, and just seeing how it goes from there. But so far in this lap we're going purple. That's really to be expected. Everyone has pretty much done their time on the medium so far, but this lap itself, it's been a little bit sloppy. I missed a couple of apexes through the Degners. And then going through here, the spoon curve. I nailed this section pretty well. Short shifted up to 4th gear again and really got a nice exit there. So as we head into the 3rd sector, you can see where I think it's 8/10 up on our previous best. So if we can sneak into the 33s, that would be a nice time bracket to be in. Ever so slight lock up into the final chicane. Oversteer on exit as we get wheel spin. And up to the line. Greekmaster set to 33.6. We can't match it though. 3/10 away. So, yeah, there we go. 2nd place so far in the Japanese Grand Prix. Kind of lost it all there through the middle sector. I was a bit conservative going in through the Degners. I took 5th gear through the very high-speed first right-hander, and then I missed a couple of apexes here and there. But as we go out at the end of the session, I'm feeling pretty confident. I think we could get pole position if we nail a lap with brand new tyres. We will find that time anyway as we get our eye in ever so slightly more. As the track gets better as well. So, yeah, final minute or so, and myself and Greekmaster are locked in the same position on the racetrack as well. So, this could be a real showdown here for pole position, which I am really looking forward to. Qualifying, for some reason, has not been my forte in this league, and I don't know why. But race pace, we always come through quite well. But 50 seconds to go in the session. Just trying to find some track space. There's a car up ahead that's going slowly. I think they're off on a slow down lap, and I completely misjudged that. That was actually Fitcho going to start a lap, and he pulled off to the left hand side to let me go, and I at the exact same time pulled over to the left and just ran straight into the back of him. My fault. And, yeah, that was the end of my qualifying session. So, unfortunately, we were denied the chance to go out again and really punch out a time for pole position, which is a bit disappointing, and having to watch all my competitors here set better times, and we got demoted down to 5th place in the end there. So Greekmaster gets pole position. He never improved in the end. I think he corner cut on his final lap, so had to abandon that. Fitcho improved to 2nd place. Brock does stuff, who is doing very well. Like I said in the last episode, he moved up from F2 not too long ago, and now he's got himself into the top 3. KMP4 as well. Really good qualifying lap for him to get inside the top 4 as well, and us starting P5 right ahead of New Zealand Ryan. So in the end, not a disastrous qualifying. And oh my god, it's Joe as well. Shout out to him for, I think, qualifying in 6th on the medium. So he might be a dark horse in this race. We'll have to wait and see. But here we go, ready for the start of the Japanese Grand Prix. In terms of the race strategy today, the one that the engineer gave us was completely messed up, like a 3-stop. I think at maximum we'll be going for a 2-stop in this Grand Prix. People who started on the mediums, they could potentially stretch it out for a 1-stop, but I think that might be slower. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes in the Grand Prix. Safety cars are always an occurrence in this league, so sometimes it's a real lottery. It's a real gamble as to what's going to happen. Whether you played yourself in right with the tyre strategy, it's always all up in the air, and that's what I like about this league so much. But here we go. 3rd to last race of the season. We had a bit of a kerfuffle with the formation lap. A lot of people were going very, very slowly. Hopefully that's not an indication of what we've got ahead of ourselves for today's Grand Prix. But here we go. Ready for the start of the Japanese Grand Prix. 5 red lights, and we are underway on board with New Zealand Ryan. Looks like a solid start. Joe in the midfield on the mediums, still holding position as well. We're going to try and hold around the outside of Brock, and we managed to get him and inside the top 4. We've got Brock still on our inside. A little bit of contact there. Right rear contact with his left front. And we both managed to survive. New Zealand Ryan has got some front wing damage. So I'm guessing he's running to the back of Brock does stuff. And that's going to hamper his race in the opening stint of this Grand Prix. So a longer first pit stop heading his way when he makes it to lap 5, 6, whenever he decides to come in. So yeah, pretty mental start so far. Mostly clean for the most part. I don't think anyone has, been spun out, has crashed into anybody. I say that, and now there's an incident, massive one at the hairpin. I think New Zealand Ryan is involved. He got a touch up by the Williams, and now he's been spun out with Joe as well. So I'll need to have a look at that. That was quite interesting. It was all triggered by the Williams who dive bombed New Zealand Ryan, and then I think he turned across the path of Joe, and those guys were sent spinning. Warden is out of the race as well, so wow, the second half of the lap is really proving to be tricky as we go for a move on KMP4 and move ourselves inside the top 3, and the safety car came out literally just after we made that move stick. So that was very, very lucky to get that position right in the nick of time. Now, we've got to decide here whether we want to come into the pits and change the tyre compounds. I just had no time to react, and I saw these guys diving in, and I was like, no, I want to do something different and keep my nose clean, stay at the front. But unfortunately, in my hesitation, I had to give the position back to KMP4. It kind of overtook me around the outside, and the gang obviously recognized that it was legal because I was pulling into the pit lane, but then I cancelled that, and so I had to give up the lead to KMP4 once again. So that was the start of the Japanese Grand Prix. I'll be bringing up a lot of replays here from the start and what happened with Warden as well. This is on board with Harry Ryan heading into turn 1. Fairly clean so far. That's the contact between New Zealand Ryan and Brock. Very unfortunate sometimes when you're just stuck in heavy traffic. Those things just happen. Now, this is the hairpin incident. Let's see what happens here. There was contact between Joe and Ryan, but like I said, the Williams was the guy who kind of instigated. Very opportunistic from Gorsh Crab. And yeah, Ryan, I don't think in all the madness saw that Joe was on his outside and kind of made contact there. A bit of unfortunate secondary contact there with that incident. But unfortunately with that incident as well, Ryan got a penalty for corner cutting, even though he got hit up the arse and got an escort into the second half of that corner very early. This is the incident with Warden here. His controller turns off.
That looked bad. Are you alright? Let me know you're alright.
How unlucky is that? Controller turns off on the first lap, and probably one of the worst spots as well, where there isn't too much runoff and Warden pays the ultimate price. I don't know what it is, but there must be some kind of dark cloud hanging over Renault at the moment. It's near impossible to get two cars that have a solid amount of luck. But here's some replays after the first lap. Joe making a pit stop after lap 1 due to the incident that happened on the hairpin on the first corner. And apparently his front wing didn't get changed, so Joe took it upon himself to give himself some proper damage so that his pit crew would change his front wing by the time he came in again on the next lap. And I gotta say, that was actually pretty smart. I would not have thought to do something like that. He managed to lose his front wing without, dangerously, risking the safety of other players out there, which was, I thought that was pretty smart, to be honest. But, he'll be rejoining at the back of the field, and on the hard compound tyres, he's got a lot of work to do. That's exactly the place where I didn't want to be. That's why I stayed out on the soft compound tyres. We're going to be struggling for tyre wear, but we're going to try and stretch this out for as long as we can, and then possibly run mediums to the end of the race. We'll have to wait and see as we get ready for the restart. That's contact between Joe and who was that? I think that was Declano. But either way, we carry into turn 1. This is KMP4, massive lockup into the first right-hander, and that has given us the lead once again. So I didn't have to work too hard to get that lead back, and that's Gorge Crab making contact with another driver. Maybe that's a bit of karma after the incident he caused at the hairpin there. But not a thing you want to be doing on a restart when the field is so bunched up. Any kind of mistake you make is going to cost you so much time and positions. If you're going to make a mistake, you may as well make it at the end of the race where no one's really around you. Then you don't lose positions, if that makes sense. But KMP4 had an incident as well, going through the fast left-hander at the end of the S's at the end of the first sector. Got caught up on one of the curbs and got sent spinning, which is really unfortunate. He was running in P2 at the time, and he's probably going to be up towards the back. Fitcho going for a move up the inside of Greekmaster, I believe. Nothing really doing there, but us, though, we're carrying on in clean air on the old soft compound tyres, just trying to press on, set purple laps, and try and break away from the field, who are all really squabbling, as you can see here. This is Joe going for a move on his teammate Chimchar. He gets himself into 9th place, and he's still got a lot of work to do today to get himself towards the front once again. Harry Ryan going for a move round the outside of Brock Does Stuff, who was also on the same strategy as me on the soft compound tyres. Nice move, and into the podium positions with HO following him through as well. So I've got two guys on the mediums right behind me, and those two might be threatening me for the lead if my tyres really start to degrade in the next few laps. Greekmaster making a mistake, just like KMP4 did into turn 1, and gave Fitcho 2nd place once again. But it's lap 9. Tyres are getting pretty faded, something like 50%, so we're kind of debating what we're going to do in terms of strategy. Could go for the one stop on the hard compound tyres, but I don't think they'll last. So I think I'm going to go mediums and then mediums to the end. This is Joe once again making another move into P7. Like I said, he's going to be a dark horse. He's going to be one to watch, making a lot of moves on guys, and he's got a lot of natural pace this weekend. Up the inside for Harry Ryan into the first Degner. Couldn't make the move stick on HO, and has to hold on for 3rd place for now. HO going defensive into the hairpin though. Is he going to go for a move? HO breaking early. Harry Ryan having nowhere to go but going to the inside. A little bit of contact was made, but thankfully no love lost there between the two drivers there. On board now with, oh my god, it's Joe. Could this be another position gained on lap 10? This will be New Zealand Ryan, our championship leader. He's not going to be too easy to pass, and he recognises that. Going defensive into the final chicane, they hold on to that position until we cut onto our clip now, where we're diving into the pits at the end of lap 10. My tyres were absolutely screwed at lap 10. I could recognise the guys behind me were starting to catch me, so I thought best to get these tyres off now before we risk getting a puncture, and onto the mediums we go. I seriously considered doing the one stop from here, from lap 10, but that would have been a long old stint on the hard compound tyres. I don't think they would have made it, in all honesty, so we're going to go with the mediums, and hopefully that works for us. Harry Ryan making his stop as well on the next lap, putting on the hard. So it'll be interesting to see what Harry Ryan does in this race and where he emerges and whether he can stretch his hard compound tyres to the end as well. If he can though, and it works out, he could be on for a season best performance for him there as well. But lap 12 now, this is Joe shaping up a move up the inside of Ryan into the final chicane. It's side by side between the two of them, bit of contact, and Joe gets hung out to dry there. Not too sure if that was lag or again another case of the contact system on this game being pretty poor, but it doesn't hold off Joe for too much longer. He has so much pace up the inside of Ryan into the first corner, and that's him onto the podium positions now, as I think Greekmaster decided to go for the undercut in the midway point of the race. Cutting back to our action now, lap 16, we're on the mediums, trying to make hay while the sun shines and everyone else is battling away. We finally found a battle of our own. I think this might be the first car I've had to kind of encounter on track apart from KMP4. But yeah, Chimchar on the hard compound tyres. Not too sure how long he's been on them for. Might have been on them ever since the first lap after the safety car. So his tyres are probably going to be very second-hand. And I'm trying to get in front of him, but it's just he's running in rich revs and he's just doing enough to stay in front for now. So I'm trying to be patient. I decided to hold off and get a nice exit off of the spoon curve, and here we go. Rich rev, slipstream, no DRS on this straight, of course, but we're going to be side by side and around the outside through 130R. Thank you. He decided to lift off in the end there, and that made my life much easier. Not really worth for him fighting that battle, considering we're in two completely different races ourselves. Joe decides to make his pit stop as well as Fitcho on lap 16, and that gives us the lead once again. So if we need to make our bid for the race win here work, we need to put in lap times now and continue to stretch out the margin, because I can tell you the gap is only about 7 seconds. We need to stretch that out to about 10, 11, 12 seconds until we make our final pit stop, and then from there we've got to close the guys in and overtake them to win the race. It's going to be a tough ask. I'm starting to feel, as this race drags on, that I might be on the wrong strategy, but we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully it works out for us here. Greekmaster gives Joe effective first place, which, okay, I'm guessing he let him through because he didn't have the pace and he was hoping that he could stick in the slipstream and maybe chase me down. I don't know if Greekmaster realized that I was making another stop and he's just given Joe a free position there, and so I stopped, what, 2 or 3 laps after that switcheroo occurred. So now with 6 laps to go, we've got a lot of work to do. The gap is quite big. I think it's like 10 seconds to the guys in front. In all honesty, by the time we got to like lap 17, 18, I almost felt like the race was lost. But I was hoping for a virtual safety car. I was hoping for a safety car as well to save me. That's why I was staying out so long. Didn't work out in the end. And right as I was catching Harry Ryan, he dived into the pits and is changing onto soft compound tyres as well. So even Harry, who stopped on lap 11, 1 lap after I did, and put on the hards, he can't make it to the end on an effective 1 stop, which is quite disappointing. But Harry's going to rejoin in P6, and I think he'll be pretty safe for that position till the end of the Grand Prix now. But 2 laps to go now. We're chasing down New Zealand Ryan, who has put on the mediums for this final stint. And I feel like he's really suffering with tyre wear. Speaking of tyres, we haven't used the mandatory tyre, which was the hard compound tyre. And I thought Codemasters got rid of this rule ever since the YouTuber Championship debacle with Xmatty G getting his win taken away, but apparently not. So that was my mistake, not recognizing that I had to use the hard compound tyres, and yeah, that really cost me a chance at having a go at Ryan on the final lap, but it wasn't to be. Oh my god, it's Joe is going to come across the line and win the Japanese Grand Prix. Gotta say, that was a spectacular drive. He was so pacey today, came from the back after the incident on the first lap at the hairpin, gets the win. Fitcho gets on the podium as well. I don't think he'll be too happy with that podium, to be honest. I think he wanted to win that race, or at least get second to claw back more points on Ryan. For us, though, it's P5 and 10 points. You know, I I almost considered risking it and just staying out on the last lap for the mediums, but I didn't want to risk the disqualification. I thought, we've got 5th place in the bag anyway. The gap to Harry Ryan was too large, and we just consolidated 5th place in the end there. So, yeah, a race that could have been so much more, but I personally just screwed that up on my own strategy calls, and yeah, I got no one to blame but myself there. But that's been this Grand Prix for today. League Racing, ASR Japan, the 3rd last race of the season. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more F1 gaming content. Check out the guys in the description who let me use their footage for these videos. It really does add to the spectacle, so go check them out. Links in the description. We've got 2 more races left. We've got Circuit of the Americas, and we've got the finale in Brazil. So hopefully in one of those 2 races we can have an absolute cracker, get a race win, or at least have some amazing battles in the process. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until the next one, guys, I'll see you next time.